Hi friends and welcome back to my channel. Today I will be doing the mid-year freakout book tag. I did it last year as well, so I will link it. I'm just gonna get to it. First question is, what is the best book that you read so far this year? If you have watched a few of my more recent videos, I don't think this will come as such a great surprise to you. The best book I've read so far this year, which might very well become the best book of the year for me, is The Winners by Fredrik Backman. It's the third book in the Beertown series. I really love Fredrik Backman as an author. I love his books, I love the Beertown series, and I finally finished this book. I started reading it last year, I read about 200 pages. I then picked it up again in May. The book in total is about 700 pages, so I still had like 500 pages to go, and it was incredible. So this is definitely my favorite book. It basically takes place, I think it's 2 years after the events of what happened in the first Beertown book. Beertown, the entire series, is about this small town in the northern parts of Sweden where everyone is obsessed with hockey. Hockey is like the greatest thing. This book features a huge ensemble, a huge cast. You get to read from so many people's perspective. Not one character feels too small, too insignificant. Everyone is important. Every event is important. Fredrik has a way of writing that will just hit you in the feels. I adore this book. I can't recommend this series enough. Next question is, the best sequel you've read so far this year? And I haven't really read that many sequels, unfortunately. This one would be a sequel, and obviously since it's my best book, it's also my best sequel. But instead of repeating myself, which I still already did, I'm gonna say Four Aunties and a Wedding, which is the sequel to Dial A for Aunties. I loved Dial A for Aunties, and its sequel is almost as great. It's a tad bit messier, a tad bit more insane, I would say, but it's really entertaining. It's about this girl, Maddie, who has 4 aunties, or like her mom and 3 aunties, and they run a business, a family business together. They do weddings together, and it's finally Maddie's wedding. So instead of hiring her own family, she has actually hired another vendor to do the wedding thing so that her family can enjoy and relax. But there's so many like culture clashes and things. Like, reading these books are like having a constant panic attack because everything always goes wrong. When you think something is getting solved, the next thing goes wrong, and then the next thing goes wrong, and they are hilarious. There's so much fun, there's so much heart in these stories. I really enjoy them. Like, they're simply feel-good books. Next question is a new release that you have not read yet but want to. And there are multiple ones. I have purchased a few 2022 releases so far this year. But the one that stands out, that I've been meaning to read since January, since its release, and just haven't got to, is To Paradise by Hanya Yanagihara. It's the same author as the one who wrote A Little Life, and I adore A Little Life, especially the writing, so I do have high expectations on this one, although I have heard quite mixed reviews. This one is a chunker, most definitely. It's also about 700 pages actually. It's some sort of mix of historical fiction, literary fiction, an alternate version of 1893 America, and then the story is taking place in 1993 and then in 2093. I really don't know what this is about. I do really badly want to read it because I do think it can be an experience. I have no clue what I'm gonna think of it though. But like, I'm excited to get to it. It's a shame that I have not got to it yet. Next question is most anticipated release for the second half of the year. I have 2 options, mainly one, but I'm gonna mention 2. First one is Babel by R.F. Kuang. This one is being released in August. It's the same author as the one who wrote the Poppy War series, which is my favorite adult fantasy series. I think R.F. Kuang is a great writer, and I can't wait to read another story from her. I'm so excited about it. It's supposedly another chunker, some sort of dark academia, magical realism, historical fantasy sort of thing. I have no clue, I just know I'm excited. Another book that's being released in August that I'm also really excited for is Carrie Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Taylor Jenkins Reid is the author of 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, Malibu Rising, and Daisy Jones and the Six. I enjoy all of them. I think they are so much fun. I really just love reading about these celebrities and this gossip. Carrie Soto is a character that's actually in Malibu Rising. So she is some sort of tennis star. I think the story is about her doing a comeback. And I'm guessing, based on when she's mentioned in Malibu Rising, that this story takes place in like the 1970s, something like that. I really like Taylor Jenkins Reid's books. I think they are super entertaining and I can't wait to read more. Next question is biggest disappointment. Now the thing is, at least in like these last 3 months or so. I feel like I've given out more 1 and 2 stars than I typically do. Might be because I broaden my reading even more. Like, I read so many different genres, so many types of books. I love exploring. I love challenging myself, trying new things. It doesn't always work out. There have been a few 1 or 2 stars, but mainly for books that I have not expected to enjoy that much. But one book I read fairly recently that I knew would be a different book. I was not certain I would love, but the hype around it has been so huge that I wanted to give it a try, and it did disappoint me because it simply did not live up to my expectations. That book is Bunny by Mona Awad. I knew this was gonna be a different book. I was well aware of that. But everyone's been hyping this up so much. People seem to love it and obsess over it with all of their being. I did not feel that way. I was mainly mad and annoyed and frustrated when I read this, and I ended up giving it 2.5 stars. Rounded it down to 2. Mainly because after I finished the book, I read up on it a bit. Just tie up some of the loose threads and stuff, and like I read what it could symbolize and some theories about this book, which made me increase it with 0.5 star. It still disappointed me. I still want to read Mona Awad, but yeah, I guess this is one of my greater disappointments of the year so far. Okay, let's now talk about biggest surprise. I'm gonna mention 2 books because they're from the same experience per se. I did a romance reading vlog in February where I read 3 very popular books, and these 2 made me so happy, made me smile like a freaking fool. The 2 books I'm talking about are XOXO by Axio and The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. I adored these books. I read both of them within like 2 days each. They are so entertaining, they are so much fun, I love the romance in them, I really enjoyed the characters as well. I gave both of these 5 stars, and I did not expect to give both 5 stars. I expected to enjoy them, like I knew I was gonna like them, but I thought I would give both of them like 4 stars. The fact that I gave both of them, reading them back to back, 5 stars is so much fun. I did not expect to fall for the hype for this one, and I did not expect this one to feel as mature as it did. Next question is new favorite author. About half of the books I read have been by authors that are new to me, but I have not really read that many books where there have been author repeats. Like, of course, I've been reading Fredrik Backman, but that's an author I already loved before this year. The only author I think I read multiple books by so far is Ali Hazelwood. I read this one and then one of her novellas, the Under One Roof novella. I've enjoyed both. I really enjoyed the writing and the storytelling in both. Would I say Ali Hazelwood is my new favorite author? No, but she's definitely becoming an Insta buy, Insta read author for me. So I guess that's sort of an answer. Another author though that has really impressed me is for a very recent read, and that's an author called Kanae Minato, which is a Japanese author. It's the one who wrote Confessions, and I really loved Confessions and how that story was told. There was something about this book that was so special. Next up, we have a book or books that made you cry. So far this year, I think there's been 3 books that have made me cry. The first one is Jade City by Fonda Lee. I knew something was gonna happen, but I didn't know. I didn't know. I didn't know I was that attached to the characters. This is the first book in a series. I did not expect to already be that attached. The second book I cried to this year is And Every Morning the Way Home Gets Longer and Longer, or something along those lines. It's this very short and tiny book by Fredrik Backman about this old man, this grandpa, who is slowly but surely losing his memories, and he's chatting with his grandson, and it made me reflect so much on my relationship with my grandfather. It's a very short, tiny, but impactful and effectful book. Finally, the third book that have made me cry so far this year is The Winners by Fredrik Backman. As I said, I'm so attached to these characters now, and knowing that this series is over, seeing where everyone ended up, I cried for the last 50 pages or so, straight up just bawled. And the funny thing with all of these are actually, I think every single time I've cried, you can see that on my channel. These 2 were during live shows, and this one I vlogged. So yeah, if you want to see me cry while reading books, you can. Next up is a book that made you happy. Multiple books have made me happy so far this year for various reasons. I have already shouted out those romances, but a book I read that just made me smile like a freaking fool, that is so adorable, so cute, just instant feel good, is Fangs by Sarah Anderson. This is a very short and very quick, like comic, I would say. Like graphic novel, but more of a comic strip, comic panel sort of deal. It's about this vampire and this werewolf that start dating. It's hilarious. It's so cute, so quick. I actually timed it when I read it. I read it within 8 minutes, so it's definitely a quick read. It's one of those books that I can just pick up, flip to a page, read it, and smile. Huge shout out to this one. This book made me so happy. Next question is, what's the most beautiful book you have bought so far this year? I've received multiple Illumicrate books that are stunning, but I'm not gonna mention any of them. I'm actually gonna talk about a few books that I have purchased myself, like I picked them out. One of them that stands out that definitely mainly was a cover buy is Daughter of the Moon Goddess. I think this cover is so insanely stunning, like the entire dust jacket is gorgeous. I've heard mixed things about the book, but it was definitely a cover buy and I think this looks beautiful. The final question is, what are some books that you need to read by the end of the year? A lot. I have so many books I need to read by the end of the year. I have multiple challenges, like year-long challenges. I have my 12 books recommended by 12 friends. I have my 22 books to read in 2022. I also have my own challenge to halve my physical TBR. Not doing the best with that one. You will get an update very soon actually. So I have so many books I need to read, and like I want to focus as always on like recent releases and recent purchases and stuff like that. But a few books I've told myself I need to read, like I've been meaning to get to them for ages, I feel like. First of all, we have Colleen Hoover. I have not read any of her books before. She is such a hyped author, such a popular author. I feel like I'm slightly missing out on not reading her books. I do think I would really enjoy these as well. They might be perfect summer reads. We're gonna have to see. Another book that I've been meaning to read since last year is The Spanish Love Deception. I have heard very mixed things about this one, but mainly good ones. It seems to be my perfect book because it's fake dating, it's travel element, enemies, lovers, cohabitation, all the tropes I love. Also another great summer read, I think. I also started out this year with being very ambitious and wanting to read multiple adult fantasy series. So far I haven't completed any, but the one I wish to complete this year is the Greenbone Saga. I read this one, I'm like 100 pages or something into the second one, Jade War, and then I also already own the third one, which is Jade Legacy. This one was really good. The second one is gonna break me, I just feel it, and the third one is gonna wreck me until I'm dust or something. And that's the tag, that's my mid-year freak out. Am I freaked out? Low-key, yeah, high-key, no. The thing is, I've really been enjoying where I've been at with my reading these last few weeks or months. I'm very much up and down, like such a roller coaster. Sometimes I read so much, like 4 books in a week or something, and then it can go multiple weeks without me reading anything. But I still feel like I'm reading a good amount of books, even though I'm not that consistent with my reading. And I love that I'm reading quite a mix of books and I'm challenging myself and I'm doing like themed vlogs and stuff like that. I very recently did a Sally Rooney vlog. I'm currently working on another vlog you hopefully will see quite soon. And I love that. I feel like every year my reading taste is just expanding and broadening, widening. And I love that. I have not read as much fantasy this year as I've expected because I've been reading more literary fiction, contemporaries, even non-fictions. I'm like dabbling in non-fiction and I want to read more non-fiction. I want to learn stuff. Who would have thought? Give me a history book, for God's sake. That's what I've been craving, a freaking history book. My reading is definitely all over the place, but I'm honestly loving that so much. My challenges, not doing the best with them, but come on, we have like 6 months left of this year. I'm doing good with my Goodreads reading challenge at least. Please let me know, are you freaked out? How are you doing so far this year with your reading? Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed. Please take care and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!
You gotta just go for it. Don't think about